Hey, what's up? What's going on out there? I was checking out this video with Slim Thug and Willie D of the Ghetto Boys, and they were talking about reparations. And I thought the little segment that I'm going to talk about was really interesting. So I'm going to let the video play and give my one too.
Instead of waiting for somebody to give you something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they wrong. Yeah, they did all that. But why are you waiting on your enemy to give you something? Why are we asking for reparations in 2025 when people came from all over Earth to America and been successful? Even in your neighborhood, the nail lady, the corner store ain't owned by you. You know what I'm saying? But we waiting on somebody to hand us some 90% of the time. And that's why we sit back and in last place when they say which race got the most. Is because instead of taking advantage of right now and just saying, man, without whatever I ain't have, I'm finna make it happen right now. Without nobody giving me nothing, I don't want nothing from nobody. I only want to stand on my feet as a man and go conquer this earth and whatever and leave my legacy behind. You know,
To be clear, you don't want reparations.
I don't want no reparations from nobody.
Now, let me stop right there.
Willie D funny. But I see what Slim Thug is talking about. Like, you waiting on your quote unquote enemy in the US to give you something for so-called black people. And I'll even go back to the good book where Slim Thug was talking about the people being on the bottom. Now, anybody who's read the good book knows who the people on the bottom are and why we can't progress and get past a certain point, and we're always engaged in all of this turmoil and things like that, and it just seems like we can never get right as a so-called people overall. And to Slim Thug's point, you're just waiting around for somebody, your enemy, to give you something. If you have an enemy or somebody owes you something in that type of manner, you have to take it in blood. That's what it is. If you want to get something back, you got to take it, whether it's owed or not, in that particular situation. Even the good book, like I said, talks about that.
I want reparations, and here's why.
Okay.
It ain't even necessarily for me. It's for my ancestors, because that is a debt owed. They died.
Nah, nah, Willie, it's for you. Because when you get that check or whatever they decide to give you, you ain't going to be thinking about Granny, Willie. You probably going to get an upgraded studio or something, Willie. But, I'm just being silly.
They worked. They were treated like the worst that you can even
Totally
imagine
agree.
that somebody could ever be treated. And it didn't end with slavery. It moved on into the Jim Crow era, and it's still going on right to this day. So reparations would absolutely give black people some get back and some seeds to plant. Like right now, a lot of us, we don't have seeds. A lot of these people, everybody else had seeds, including white people. When immigrants come here, they have seeds used and that are provided to them from our government by way of our tax dollars.
Facts.
They will take our shit and give it to them and allow them to come up, but at the same time try to subjugate us. So those reparations ain't just for me, it's for my ancestors. I got it. I could say I don't necessarily need it, but I do know a whole lot of black people that could use them damn reparations to get on their feet.
100% agree.
Willie D eyes look like they about to pop out of his head. But to his point, I see what he means. Like, it's that if that were to happen and if the money was used properly, it definitely can boost the community as a whole. So I get it. I get that point.
With everything you're saying.
And so we need those reparations because it's a debt owed. It's almost like what if
I totally
you
agree
gave
with
somebody some money? What if you gave?
But look, though.
Hold on. What if you gave somebody some money? Let's say it's a substantial amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
You gave somebody, let's say, $100,000.
Right.
You passed on. Your sons know this motherfucker borrowed 100 racks from my dad and ain't paid it back yet.
Right.
They not supposed to go get that money?
Look what I'm telling you though. What if the dude broke? What if whoever had the 100,000 is broke and you know you'll never get it?
But this one, right? Well, he got to get it out his ass or something.
So that
that's the thing about reparations. Like, honestly, if America was to liquidate all its assets to because that's what it's going to take, to seem like it makes so-called black people in this country whole. And then there's another thing. You have to go back and see like who's eligible for the reparations, but that's a whole nother subject. But it will really, literally, probably bankrupt the country, and the country is already in debt. So that's why I said the thing about reparations. I don't foresee that happening at all. And then what's like a quantifiable, like what's a number that's going to make sense for the reparations? It's going to be some groups out there, people that might say, hey, this is not high enough. Some might say this is too low. So who knows, like, what is the number? And when I hear, so-called black people talk about the reparations thing, it's so many different views and opinions on that. Like, how are they going to get the money from the feds, from the government? Like, how? Like, just get out your ass. Like, some thug is kind of saying, like, okay, like, the country has money, but how much is that how much money is going to be needed to suffice to make up for that situation? Slavery, Jim Crow, discrimination, etc. All of the foul stuff that happened to so-called black people in this country. What monetary number is going to make sense? That's my whole thing.
You know what I'm saying? It got to come from somewhere.
That analogy goes the same thing. It's got to come from somewhere. It go the same way with America. Do you really believe that these folks will ever in life actually give us some reparations?
You know why I say yes?
When did we start asking for reparations?
We've been asking for reparations.
About around what time? You don't know? I don't even know.
It's since the beginning of time.
It's 2025.
Some thug kind of busting them up, like when, like how long you've been asking for them, and like how long do you think it's going to take? Willie D has no answers. I mean, honestly, both men aren't like super qualified to have this conversation, because it's really a conversation I don't think a lot of people are really qualified to have in general, because the number is, you don't know the number, you don't know how long it's going to take for the government to give you this money, land, or whatever the case may be, to give you that. Like and they could just keep stalling you, like,
But it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. Here's my point. When you start talking about how much time has passed, it really doesn't matter how much time has passed. When you look at slavery, you would think that America would have never ended slavery.
Right.
I think that ending slavery was a far greater feat to accomplish than issuing out some paper, just writing some checks.
Right.
Now, if you think about it and you go back to those times, people were like, man, slavery ain't gonna never. They got it too good.
Yeah.
They sitting on their ass getting paid. You can get another human being to do your work for you, and you can sit back and just get paid.
I feel you.
Nobody ever thought slavery would end. But that shit is over. A lot of people think that reparations ain't going to happen. Yeah. It may not happen in our lifetime, but it's going to happen.
It's not going to happen, Willie.
I believe it'll happen.
You my OG, and I love and respect you. I'm day one with you. But I disagree with that point. And this is why I say stop waiting on reparations.
It's not about waiting, Slim. We're not waiting. But it's possible to do two things at once, because I hear people say waiting. When nobody's waiting, I know I'm not. And most of the people that I know, we're not waiting. We're still living. We're still building. We're still growing. We're still grinding. But so it's possible for us to do two things at once. Okay. We can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time.
Okay, let me say this.
We can grind. We can hustle. We can go get everything that's due to us.
I got you.
In the meantime, we over here like, yeah, motherfucker, what about them reparations?
Right, exactly. See, and my whole point in saying what I said was, I don't want people to have the mindset of waiting. You know what I'm saying? If you still, like you say, building and chasing doing your thing, cool. But I'm just giving you my personal opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not Jesus Christ. I just don't think them folks gonna ever give us no reparations. I don't believe it.
They not gonna give.
That's just my personal opinion.
They not gonna give shit.
So I say don't wait for it.
They're not gonna give shit, just like they didn't give us freedom.
Right.
We fought for that. So what Slim is...
Exactly. Key word is fault. Fault. In this type of situation, I think it's going to be some type of real conflict if you want to get reparations. And to Slim Thug's point, I think Willie kind of got Slim Thug to see like it's people. It's a segment of people that are not like waiting around to get them. They're working like, doing their thing. Not just sitting on their hands waiting for a check. They might be talking about getting a check or whatever, but they're doing their own thing at the same time. And I think that's what Willie did a good job of getting Slim to see. Like, just because you hear reparations doesn't mean somebody's not doing their thing and they're not just waiting around for money.
Saying is, he's not necessarily against reparations. He's against waiting on reparations because he don't think they'll ever give them to us. And once again, I vehemently disagree. I don't give a damn if they don't want to give us reparations. Reparations is due. Reparations is a debt owed. It ain't a handout. It's a debt owed. America ain't got no problem paying everybody else they've done wrong to. They ain't got no problems, and Americans don't have a problem with it. When they see other people getting money, they just be like, oh well, and just keep on going. Most times they don't even have a comment on it. But let something be allocated for blacks, and boy, they go crazy. They lose their damn minds. Not understanding that when black folks are doing good, the country is doing good.
Well, that's pretty much what I wanted to highlight in the video. To his last point, what he was talking about, it's pretty much like people being on the bottom again. Because when something is given to so-called black people, for some reason, like Willie was saying, certain segments of people in the country lose their damn mind. I don't know, like we just become the highlight of the conversation. But again, the only way that reparations are going to be fulfilled, or some type of reparations are going to be given a substantial amount, you're going to have to take them. And I don't know if it's really a segment of people that are going to be willing to do that, really fight. I mean, I'm talking about like have the physical capability to go out there and do that. Because that's the only way America is going to give you some so-called black people something, what they're looking for. And it might not even be what they're looking for. You understand? So, that's my 1-2 on it. Leave your commentary. Let me know what you think.